We begin with the breaking news that a jury has found Joe Koenig guilty in the murder of Alexa Bartell. She died after he threw a large rock through her windshield in April 2023. The verdict came down just about over an hour ago. Thanks for joining us. I am Sam Shocker. And the jury started deliberating about 24 hours ago. Jeremy Hohola is live at the Jefferson County Courthouse with more details. Jeremy, I cannot imagine the emotion in that courtroom when that verdict was announced.
Yeah, hi there, Sam. This was clearly a heavy and emotional moment for the families of two people here. That is, of course, the victim in this case, Alexa Bartell, and the family of the defendant, Joe Koenig. As this count, the first count, was read out loud in court this morning, which was a guilty verdict of first-degree murder. There was clearly a very deep, visceral reaction in the courtroom today from the victim's family. That seemed to be a mix of different emotions all at once. Some relief, some pain, weeping and tears this morning. This was a 2-week-long trial with Joe Koenig at the center here, one of 3 defendants, but the only one who decided to go to trial in this rock-throwing case. Over the past 2 weeks, this trial involved more than 50 witnesses and painful testimony. This was essentially the retelling of a story involving 3 18-year-old men who decided to find some sort of joy or entertainment by throwing large rocks at oncoming drivers over the few days in 2023. One of those rocks that they threw killed Alexa Bartell, who was only 20 years old. The other 2 defendants in this case already made plea deals with prosecutors. However, Joseph Koenig took his chance with the jury here, but they found him guilty on all 19 charges. But the count that carries the most weight here is first-degree murder. Let's hear what some of the family had to say just a few minutes ago.
This has been obviously hardest 2 years ever, and we got justice today, and I don't know how to feel about it. I'm happy it doesn't bring Alexa back, and that's horrible, but we don't ever want this to happen again to anybody else.
And that was a very rare moment from the mother of Alexa Bartell. The family has been pretty private over the past 2 years. You heard her say this was a very difficult, long 2 years, and you could certainly see that as this first-degree murder conviction was read out loud in court. So what's next? Joseph Koenig will be sentenced in June. In Colorado, a first-degree murder conviction carries a lifetime term in prison without the possibility of parole. So we'll see what happens in sentencing in June, but it's this 20-year-old man now is headed to prison for the rest of his life.
Jeremy, the statement from that mother, as a mother, yeah, it choked me up. So hopefully some sort of justice can begin some sort of healing, if there even is a possibility of that as a parent.
Yeah, they said, today's conviction does not bring Alexa back, but you heard the mother there say that this is justice for their family.
Jeremy Hohola, appreciate you. Thank you. Well, an accused kidnapper is behind bars in Fort Collins today, and a missing teenager from Missouri is reunited with her family after police say she was held for months. Police say the girl was with a registered sex offender, 44-year-old Maximilian Boondreshku, when police raided a home near Warren Lake a week ago. They say he rented a car in December and drove to Missouri, where he's accused of kidnapping the girl and driving her back to northern Colorado. According to police, he made the girl work for his snow removal company, Foco Snowgo. Police are now asking people who hired his company to reach out to them. Boondreshku being held in jail on a $500,000 bond for several charges, including the kidnapping and child abuse. Switching gears here, it is cloudy, drizzly, and just an all-around yucky day ahead. But hey, it is Friday, so we can celebrate that. Congratulations, Keely. We made it to the end of the week. Will it stay this cloudy all day?
Well, yeah, the clouds are going to stick around today, but as we look toward the weekend, we're going to see sunshine and much, much warmer temperatures. I talked about it earlier before the show. 30-degree swing as we head into Sunday. We're looking at highs in the low 80s on Sunday. But yes, today, cloudy, drizzly, and very cool as temperatures hover in the mid to upper 40s right now around the metro area. We're going to see a lot of clouds throughout the day and some showers, drizzles, showers, kind of one of those drizzly days as we head into the afternoon, and those clouds sticking around. We're going to top out in the low 50s today. Our normal high for this time of the year is 63 degrees, so well below that. Visibility down to about a mile in Broomfield, so still dealing with those low clouds, drier and clearer air mass up in the high country. We are quiet on our radar. Your forecast for the metro area today, cloudy and drizzly, 52 degrees. Again, much cooler than our normal high of 63. And that tops a look at our weather headlines. Warmer this weekend, and we do have some isolated storms in the forecast for next weekend, possibly for this weekend as well. More on that coming up in your complete forecast in just a bit.
Keely, thank you. Well, it is the last day for a resource center in Boulder that has been helping the community recover from the King Soopers mass shooting. The Boulder Strong Resource Center became a healing space after the 2021 shooting. For 4 years, survivors and families found community through art, therapy, and support. Some of the items from the Resource Center will be donated to a museum in Boulder, and people with the center are working to ensure therapy services can still be provided for those who need them most. The public viewing of Pope Francis's body is now closed, and the Vatican says 250,000 mourners have paid their last respects over the last 3 days. This is a live look from Rome, where final preparations are being made for his funeral tomorrow morning. NBC's Tom Yamas has a preview.
A lot of emotions, you know. We have great feelings for Pope Francis.
And this moment now being shared around the world. Vatican cameras capturing a nun who was a close friend of Pope Francis allowed to approach the coffin. As she pauses, she begins to weep. You can hear her as she's overcome with grief. Even those who didn't know Pope Francis describe a similar feeling.
What was that moment like?
It's kind of hard to put into words. It was very emotional.
Rome officials expect more than 100,000 to show up Saturday morning and pack St. Peter's Square for the Pope's funeral. The Vatican says delegations from 130 countries will be there, with 50 heads of state, including President Trump. Following the funeral, Pope Francis's body will be transported through the streets of Rome. The route, which police shared with NBC News, will pass near the Forum and the Colosseum, ending up at Santa Maria Maggiore. He will be the first pope to be buried outside Vatican walls in more than 120 years. The Vatican releasing this photo of his tomb, just one word inscribed on it, Franciscus. And overnight, cardinals praying the rosary outside of Francis's final resting place. The church housing the most important icon to Mary. You see it here. Pope Francis would visit it before and after every trip. The College of Cardinals is busy at work preparing for the conclave, the ancient and secretive process in selecting the next pope. The start date expected to be announced following Pope Francis's funeral. The Vatican now simultaneously preparing for an end and a new beginning.
New at noon, he went from a U.S. congressman to an admitted fraudster. And now George Santos is headed to prison. The former U.S. rep from New York was sentenced to just over 7 years in prison this morning. This follows last summer's guilty plea to federal wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. Santos admitted he deceived donors and stole the identities of nearly a dozen people to fund his congressional campaign.